Hey, what is up, investors? Jason here. So in this video, I want to talk about a few different space stocks, and primarily ones that I think that really have a very successful future ahead of them in this whole business, because now, of course, space is no longer a business that the government is so much involved in. This is now a business where private companies are involved in, and there is a growing need. There is a necessity now in this, not necessarily for taking people up into space, but for things like satellites and other businesses that need to get things up in space. That's a whole area of real estate that is still just being tapped into. And of course, we're getting a lot of space junk up there, but at the same time, there are a lot of possibilities still be coming from the future of space. So what I want to do is I want to talk about companies that are going to really be benefiting from this. Now, I will be talking about some of the larger space companies and some of the smaller ones. So there are some interesting things in here if you guys wanted to just jump to different parts of this video in the chapter section there. But I do encourage everybody to actually watch it. Now, there are still two big players that are not publicly traded companies yet. Of course, SpaceX and Blue Origin. But we could be looking forward to those sometime in the future, hopefully. Now, these are just other companies that will be benefiting a lot from space. So this is an area that is going to be exploding, in my opinion, and there is a lot to really be looking forward to this in the future. So as we get to this, if you guys don't mind, please do me a huge favor. Please be sure to smash, destroy, annihilate, or just gently press that like button. That helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm, helps spread the video to more people that might find it interesting, and subscribe if you have not already. And if you're interested in being a Patreon, I have one link is in the description. Thank you to all the Patreons. And there also is a private Discord available to that if you guys just want to talk about stocks, but no advice within that, just to keep that in mind. So the first one is Momentus, but currently Momentus is not publicly traded. They're going public through a SPAC merger with Srac. Now, Momentus is a company that does space transportation. When a payload goes up into space, say through SpaceX or Blue Origin, etc., that needs to be moved somewhere into a specific orbit. Momentus is a company that can move that satellite into a specific orbit. That's what the company specializes in, and there is a huge market for that, because there's a lot of companies that have satellites that could need repair, or there's companies out there that have satellites that are just not operational anymore, and they could possibly need to get those down, or as well as just, maybe it's not in the right spot and it probably needs to be moved or something, or it's at risk of something happening with the other satellites out there. So there is a demand for something like this, and so this is kind of like something that you can invest into that you can't invest into, like SpaceX or a lot of these other really cool space companies that are not public yet. So that's what I like about Momentus. Now, this one had a CEO that was from a different country. He was Russian, and because he was not a U.S. citizen and he was Russian, that did create some conflicts, because it is dealing with space and launching things, from Earth into outer space. A bit of conflict that comes with that with the U.S. government. So he had to basically sell out all of his shares of the company, step down from his position of the company, and then a new CEO was appointed. But anyways, it's still a great company in my opinion. I think it still has a whole lot of potential. But a lot of the excitement for this SPAC has kind of gone away because of that. And now it's currently trading at a price of $10.29, which in my opinion is pretty cheap. I think that this is the price that it was the original target for around, and people were willing to pay for this at one point, at a price of as high as about $30, $29.18 was the actual high that this SPAC had gone to, and so now it's really come down a lot since then. Next is Virgin Galactic that I want to talk about. Now, I'm very bullish on this one. I think it has a lot of potential, but the thing is that this stock has kind of just been all over the place, going up, doubling its value, then a couple weeks later quickly selling off to losing all the gains that it just made, losing half of its value, etc. It's something that it continues to do quite a bit here. And just looking at it, I mean, if you look at the graph here from the last year, you can see that there's a lot of momentum trading that does go on, and a lot of people do catch this stock when it's starting to trend up. They ride it, and then just over a very short period of time, there's a lot of selling off that goes on, and we see it all the time with this one. Actually, a lot of momentum trading with Virgin Galactic, and we see it go up real fast, kind of stabilize for a couple weeks or a week or so, and just sell off, and then it tanks, going from from a high and then to a low of that month, losing half of its value really fast. It's just like a consistent thing that it's been doing. A lot of momentum trading within this one. But we recently saw this stock going down as low as around like $14 in the month of May, to quickly going up as high as around $60 in June, all leading into the whole launch that Virgin Galactic was doing with with them getting clearance from the FAA, and then them sending Richard Branson up into space and some other civilians that work with the company as well. That whole thing sent the stock up a lot, but right after that happened, what did they do? They did a stock offering of like $500 million worth of stock, and that just ended up sending the price of the stock down. So no one likes dilution of companies, but you got to expect that when you're buying into a growth company, that there is going to be dilution. And when you think about the fact that this stock right now at this price, after just losing about half its value, the market cap is $7.4 billion. And just a matter of like 3-4 weeks ago, this stock was around $60 a share. People were willing to pay for it at that price. $500 million doesn't really mean a whole lot at that time now, because now they have the money to do the things that they need to do. On top of that, they had the FAA clearance. The founder of the company was willing to go up in space and test out this product and verify, hey, this thing works. We have something here. There is potential here. But other than that, I mean, Virgin Galactic can also be taking payloads up into space, doing things with the International Space Station. Who knows where this is all going to be going in the future? And not only that, I mean, they have the capabilities of hypersonic travel from going from California to New York in a matter of an hour. With doing it this route, also you avoid TSA and all those other hangups, and there is a market for that. Not every CEO can do everything over a Zoom call. There's very wealthy people that can't be in one place and another place and going across travel for many hours to get to that next place. Say, if there's a convention in Florida and they're in California, they can get there in an hour with Virgin Galactic, if that's the route that this company does take. If they do take the route of hypersonic travel, which I think that they would in the future here, I have heard about that. So if that's the route that they go, there is a big market for that, but they need to start somewhere, and the whole space travel is, space tourism is where they're kind of just getting their start at, but there's a lot more potential with Virgin Galactic, and they just raised some money. So depending on how you want to play that, in my opinion, it could be a good time to be getting into it. Even the analysts are saying that there's still a lot of potential with Virgin Galactic. If we look at where this projections are with the stock, if we look at the median is $41. So with the stock currently being at the price of around $30, there's still room to grow to get to the median. And the high that the analysts have there is $51. So a lot of potential there with Virgin Galactic, if you are even looking at what the analysts are saying about this stock. Next, let's talk about Gilat Satellite Network, ticker symbol GILT. Now, this is one that's kind of like buying into a company like Starlink. SpaceX's Starlink, which is a broadband service that Elon Musk has created, and that has a bunch of low Earth orbit satellites out there. Well, Gilat is very similar to that. We're technically kind of like the same thing. This is a company that is still building out that. It's a publicly traded company, and it's something in that industry of broadband internet coming from satellite. And so coverage for the entire world is a market that has a whole lot of potential when you're talking about places that don't really have good internet. Say even parts of the United States. There's many parts of the United States that doesn't have any sort of good internet connection. And this is something that is that type of technology now that exists, that is available, and it's becoming more and more of a growing industry. And many cell phone companies, I think, will even start jumping on this type of stuff. I think this is an area that's going to really be growing. Now, Gilat stock has really been an interesting one, because starting out 2021, this stock was trading around like $5-6 a share, and then quickly it had gone up above $20 a share, and then had a lot of selling off that happened afterwards after that big bull run. But there has been a whole lot going on with this company. A lot of big multi-million-dollar contracts have been coming in from this time. In mid-April, they secured a $20 million order to support low Earth orbit constellation. Also in April, Tier 1 telco in Latin America awards Gilat over $3 million to provide broadband connectivity. They were awarded $13 million in contracts to deliver internet services to hundreds of sites in Peru. They also got a $5 million deal with Pacific Dataport for broadband coverage in Alaska. And there is many more of these that I'm kind of just skipping over, but they've had a lot of these contracts come in. And this is a really interesting thing because there's a lot of potential here in this market. And we can see that this company is growing in these contracts for these satellite deals. Now that brings us into this next one, AST SpaceMobile, ticker symbol ASTS. Now this one has come down a lot from where it was at its highs. Now this was one that went public through a SPAC merger, but at its highs, people were willing to pay for this for upwards around $25 a share, and now it's trading for around $11.70. Looking at what this company does, I mean, this is something that competes with Starlink. This is another satellite broadband internet service, and this is still one that still has a bit of ways to go. It's a newer company, a startup. Now, the company was founded in 2017, and they have a market cap of a little bit over $2 billion. But the interesting thing here is what they've gotten done in this amount of time. The company says that they have claimed 1,000 patents. Now, they've already partnered with some of the largest cellular carriers, including ones like AT&T and Vodafone, and they've signed deals with companies all over the world. And they have a 50-50 revenue share that they offer to these carriers. If their customers need to switch over to their network, they will then share 50% of the revenue with them. So it's beneficial for these companies to allow their service, their satellite service, on their carrier plans if their customers need to use this service, if they're in an area where they don't even have roaming available and they're somewhere that they can get internet. And this will be great for people that are living in rural areas. And they've also made some pretty big deals as far as their funding rounds, even able to get Samsung on one of their funding rounds in 2018. And if we go on over to CNN Business and see what the analysts are saying about AST SpaceMobile, it's pretty interesting because the low is $29, the median is $32, and the high is $35. So this stock has a whole lot of potential to go to get to its low, the low end on what the analysts are projecting. So there is a lot of potential here, in my opinion, if you're going to use what the analysts are saying about this stock. So I just want to make this video just to talk about these few different space stocks that I find interesting, and I think that there's still plenty of value to still come from them. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Are there any of these that you guys are invested into? Now keep in mind, everything that I'm talking about here is just for entertainment purposes only. Nothing here is financial advice. So please do your own research when looking into any of these companies if you're not familiar with them. And with that being said, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. New videos coming out on my channel all the time. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next video coming very soon.